this is so exciting because, first of all, let me just say, we get guests on the show, and it's generally the bottom of the barrel. We're pulling really from the scrap heap of show business. Once in a while, we throw out the line, zzz, and we get a shark is on the end of the fishing line.
I love that.
And we have a shark, a great white. Are you a great white? Well, you're great.
I am great, and I am white.
And you are white. So, no, Kesha, this is so exciting to have you here and for us to talk. And you're just, we've kind of been working toward this for a while, and now we're here.
Here we are.
Yes. And you are in the middle of a very exciting stretch right now. It's like you've been waiting for this album to come out for a long time, it seems.
My God. Yes. It's been a really long time. Mm-hmm. It's been 3 years in the making.
Mm-hmm. And the album's called Gag Order, and it's out now. And in terms of the growth as an artist, you're kind of like you've taken steps forward with every record. Like you've tried new things, you've done things, but the leap between records, between High Road and this record, is it's like you jumped the Grand Canyon on this one.
I did. I feel like a Bigfoot.
Okay. Can you expound on that? No, that's what we. Okay.
Absolutely not. Okay, I feel like a Bigfoot trudging through the forest of Northern California. Mm-hmm. And this time, I just feel like I was given so much time and space from everyone and everything that the inside of my mind broke, and I had to put it all into an album. I had to say all the things I've been wanting to say, but they felt too much. Too vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Like, I was scared to say all this stuff, but I've then realized, for whatever reason, I've been given this beautiful life of doing what I do. I'm an artist, and if I don't say all the things that I'm honestly going through, mm-hmm. then my art is not going to be the greatest art it can be, and I would be doing a disservice to myself and also to the people that are on this ride with me, my fans. So.
Absolutely.
Here we are.
And it's very true. There's a saying with creative stuff, leap and a net shall appear. And it kind of feels like you did that. Like you jumped into the pool not knowing if there's water in the pool.
Absolutely, I did. And I think David Bowie, I don't remember the exact quote, but he says, like, always be in a place where you can't touch the bottom is where the greatness happens. Something like that. I'm butchering it. But so I kept reminding myself of that because Bowie's, he's Bowie.
Sure. When did how did the initial you seeing what this record could be start to take shape in terms of the sound of the record? I know the lyrics and the emotion behind it is one thing, but the sound it's a huge shift in that regard also. And so what were the influences or the things you wanted to try or see what was you could touch with just sheerly on a musical standpoint?
Well, musically, it wasn't a particular genre. Like, I'm calling the album post-pop because I don't know what it sounds like. I'm actually curious if you were to put it in a genre of music, what that would be, or like what you would call the sound, because I don't know what to call it.
It's kind of, and look, I wouldn't compare it. It's not apples to apples, of course, but it makes me think a lot of when Radiohead did OK Computer, and then suddenly they said, no, we're doing Kid A next. We're going to just pour some gasoline on what we did in the past, set that on fire, and then what's left is where we stand. And maybe you call this record Kid K.
Oh my God, love that.
So
Special K.
Special K. But there is a lot of that in it where you're playing with mood more than I think you've ever explored to such a consistent degree. And the record is also just kind of like, it's a pure album. It's it holds up from beginning to end, and it's a consistent statement. Because your other albums, as great as everything is, it's like there's obviously singles, and then there's songs that work around the singles, and maybe singles led the charge on some of them.
Yeah.
But this feels like, boom, this is an album.
Absolutely. And I got to work with Rick Rubin, which was beyond.
Sure.
Like I was listening to you and you were talking about Rick Rubin. I forget what the conversation was exactly, but
he's one of the we've been doing this podcast series where we go through everything Rick Rubin has produced in order, and we listen to all of it and we talk about all of it. Great, good, weird, bad, others, because he's done a million things. So he's going to cover everything on the spectrum has happened on this guy's watch. But what it kind of reveals itself is that he's such a confounding, interesting guy that he's like, it's more of a question even after you listen to this stuff than before. You're less sure of who this guy is in a way once you start exploring it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
My manager was like, it was all very magical. My manager was like, I think it's time you meet Rick. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? And so then I met Rick, and we ended up getting along really well and talking about a bunch of different spiritual stuff. We're both Pisces. We talked about collecting random vintage shit. Like we talked about mental health.
Like what kind of vintage stuff are you collecting? What were you?
I have a strange addiction to collecting vintage lamps.
Okay.
And I collect weird folk art, but my true love is vintage lamps.
Okay.
Do you collect any weird stuff? I was at your house. I feel like you had some weird things around.
Yeah, I kind of collect a lot of little things, like a lot of little things. I started trying to collect the first Velvet Underground album banana covers, like with the original ones that you could still peel. And I found out it's a very expensive
I was going to say, that's an expensive hobby.
I might not be cut out to collect those after all. But yeah, I think you had a bunch in common with him. What were your preconceived notions of who Rick Rubin might be before you actually met him?
Well, I know what I know, which I thought he was like this Buddha-like motherfucker that kind of ran a cult in Malibu. And then I thought, well, he's the greatest music producer of all time. Those were my preconceived notions. Sure. And I wasn't far off.
On either front.
No, I don't think he means to be cult-like, but there's something about him where you just want to do what he does because it's very much feels like the closest I've ever come to being in the room with Buddha.
Sure. That magnetism that is it kind of you get drawn in on it.
He's very wise. So I found myself like a little baby duckling. He would order a blue smoothie and I was like, I want the blue smoothie too. And then he walks around barefoot and I started walking around barefoot and he, wears really simple things. And the beginning of the album, there's pictures of me coming in with my Gucci on and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then by the end, I look like a little wannabe Rick Rubin clone. I'm wearing a oversized t-shirt, barefoot, walking around with my blue smoothie. So I don't know. There's something about the guy that is kind of indescribably magical. And if I were going to try to describe it, it would be he allows.
Okay.
He allows I felt like there was nothing I could say or do that would shock this man.
Okay.
Genuinely. But it wasn't a front. He really allows you to just be.
Okay. Is it the kind of thing where he's like, hey, I listened to all your music and
no, he'd never heard TikTok. He never heard TikTok before.
So he just met you. He responded to you the human.
Which is exciting. Yeah.
Well, that's a huge compliment.
I know. I was kind of shocked.
So
I'm still kind of shocked.
He saw the artist because of just you as you. That's very exciting.
It is exciting. It was very flattering. And I feel like I almost went on this psychedelic journey with him. And he was like the spirit, like he was like the shaman.
Sure. And you just you eventually just the record starts to take shape. Were you surprised that, oh my God, this is what this record's going to be? What was that like as it started to reveal itself?
I mean, it was terrifying. It's still a little scary because it's so vulnerable and I find it to be so intimate. It's like I literally took a microphone and allowed the entire world to just listen to what's happening in my head. But with him, musically, he likes more minor chords. We would look up, like, we would sit and try to find the saddest key. Like, it was very intentional. Every little sound was so intentional. And it was really cool because coming from the pop machine, like, nobody gives a fuck about anything except for what's going to make money. That's the bottom line, only thing that matters. So to be like having to unlearn that process and connect with music as art was really fucking cool. I'm so grateful.
It's really exciting, and it's exciting for you to feel like this is a line you have drawn now in the sand as an artist to say, yeah, this is where I stand now. And you did other things, and you're doing this, and you did it. You're doing it outstandingly. So it's very exciting.
Thank you. I feel, oh God, I kind of feel like I built a house and burnt it down, and I'm dancing on the ashes of who I once was.
With
who knows?
Who knows? Nobody knows. That's the exciting part of it. Who knows? So leaving that, what were the kind of hesitations, if there were any, about leaving the pop machine behind on this record? Like getting out of, truly leaving your comfort zone?
Oh God, so many things. I think like scared people are going to judge my mental health. I think I'm crazy. People aren't going to buy it. People aren't going to show up to my shows. My entire livelihood's going to be different. I'm going to be considered a has-been. People are going to make fun of me. People aren't going to get it. People are going to think I'm not as talented as I once was. Like a lot. But it's beautiful when you make something you're really proud of, because now that it's a material thing that has been put out into the world and I've set the bird free, I kind of don't have one single fuck to give about what people think. Like I've read a couple of negative comments and I'm just like, ha, you don't get it, you unevolved bitch. Like instead of being like, oh my God, I'm so hurt, because I know this album is good.
Yeah. You do not have to, you are looking straight ahead. You don't have to look back. You don't have to look side to side. You just keep looking ahead because you did do it. And if you're going to counter a thing, I'm saying a nice thing, so that counts against one of the negative things. So you're equal with those.
I think, God, you count for like at least 47 people.
47. Oh, you are just killing me with these compliments. I don't know how to handle all this. So you, in terms of the songwriting process, there's an interesting thing. You were, one of my good friends is Kurt Vile. And
oh yes,
he's one of my, I've known him for however long, and just, I love him to death. And you worked with Kurt in the songwriting process a little bit.
Yes. Can I tell you a funny story? Actually, it involves you.
Sure. It's the best kind of story.
I know, you're going to love it. So first of all, I have to say my ex is so pissed I'm talking to you, because he's the one that showed me who you are. Okay. And he listens to this and he's like, please don't ever go on this show. So I can never, like, I can't not listen. So sorry. Buddy. But second of all, I thank him, because through listening to your show,
Mm-hmm.
I started hearing Kurt like drop in and be a weirdo.
Uh-huh.
And I always loved Kurt and listened to his music, but listening to your show, listening to him talk on your show was the reason I reached out to him to write.
Oh, that's amazing. So you reached out to Kurt because you heard him be a goofball with me on the show.
Yes.
And what is it? What were those things about his music that popped for you initially before you knew him as a person?
I think that he has a combination of severe talent and humor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like painstakingly cool.
Yes. He is that person. Like that's my favorite thing about Kurt is the person who I know in real life and the person who you see on stage. That's literally the same guy. There's
and he's the man. He's such a nice person. I love nice people.
Yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you're like a really cool guy, you're not always that nice, but he's like a cool guy that's really nice.
He is, yeah. Do you know about his brother, Paul, Jello Man?
I have heard about Jello Man, but what? I forgot that also I'm not supposed to say bad words with you.
You can say bad words. It's a new show.
You're going to have to bleep me.
You say any word you want, Kesha.
Okay, great. Tell me about Jello Man.
Kurt's brother, Paul, goes to festivals and he brings Jello shots and he sells Jello shots at different music festivals all across the country. And he's known as Jello Man. The first time I met him, this giant Breaking Bad style RV pulled up and he had coolers of Jello shots that he was just making to take to EDM festivals or Coachella. And at first they started to throw him out of these things, but now they're just like, hey, Jello Man. So he's now a legend.
Is he single?
I don't know. I'll find out for you. He's a strapping young man though. He does a lot of mason work too, so he's a tough guy. Look, this could be it. This could be it. You'll watch this video 40 years from now. You and Jello Man will watch the moment you learned about Jello Man.
Little Jello babies.
Little Jello babies. Yeah. So what was it like creatively with Kurt?
With Kurt, we only got together once, and we got together downtown a couple of years ago. And I remember we wrote this cool song. And then at the end of the session, I was like, I kind of want to write a song about being a house cat.
Mm-hmm.
And another great thing about Kurt is he's just like, yeah, right on, man. And I was like, great. Didn't bat an eyelash. So we ended up, then we wrote a song about being a house cat, which is now an outro to one of my favorite songs on the album.
Yes. And the songwriting credits on that might be the greatest list of songwriting credits. It's you, Kurt, the Ramones. It's just seeing that list that's a pretty cool list of songwriting credits for the drama.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
That was insane to have the Ramones. The song Kurt and I wrote is interpolated with a Ramones. It's a Ramones interpolation. They're weaving in and out of each other. And if you listen to that song, everybody, the outro is supposed to sound like if you've been to Disneyland.
Okay.
And if you've gone on the water ride. You know, what's it called?
Splash
Mountain.
Splash
Mountain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, have you been?
I have not been to Disneyland.
What?
I'm going in July. I'm going.
Like ever in your life?
No, I was in New Jersey up until 3 years ago, or three or so years ago, and there was a whole pandemic there that kind of limited me doing stuff.
No. You were alive for many years before the pandemic. Why did you not ever did you ever go to Disney World?
I did go to Disney World once.
Oh, okay.
But I used to be in New Jersey. I would go to Great Adventure. This was Six Flags Great Adventure is where we went.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with log flumes and things like that. So but just
it's
not
a whole
not
thing.
Splash
You
Mountain.
have, if you know, you don't. But when you're going up and you're about to go crashing down, you're passing by all these little like characters that are being like, we're going to eat some bunnies. We're going to eat some bunnies. And you start going faster. And then this wolf is boiling bunnies. And then they're like, and there's children screaming. And then you're about to like plunge to your maybe imminent death. And so that's what I want that song to sound like.
Well, that first one was the scariest thing I've ever heard, that description there. I don't know if I have it in me to go on that ride or maybe ever in any ride after that. That was a ride I just went on. It was
that's your personal song, I wrote.
That was Kesha Mountain. I just went on the ride with the wolves and bunnies being boiled. What if I went there and none of that was on at Splash Mountain and I was just like, what was she talking about?
That's totally possible. Now you're going to have to report back.
Yes, I will give you a full report.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. A common misconception about relationships is that they have to be easy to be right. But often the best relationships are the ones where both people put in the work to make them great. And therapy can be a place where some of that work gets done, where you can work through the challenges that you face in all of your relationships, whether with friends, with colleagues, with significant others, with anyone. And if you're thinking of starting therapy or changing therapists, consider BetterHelp. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. And right now, Best Show listeners can get 10% off your first month when you visit betterhelp.com/thebestshow. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebestshow.
So you're coming up on 15 years in this career. It's really amazing when time flies so fast that suddenly you are just a capital A artist who's been around for a good while with things. And what, like, when you think about who you were back in 2008, 2009, well, for who was the first famous person you met?
Like post me,
like not through
music?
Your mom, maybe because you probably met people because your mom is a songwriter. So who did you meet who did you meet on your own where you were just like, oh my God, I'm on the ride now? Speaking of rides.
Well, I met Ludacris when I moved to LA and he was having an after party and I kept sneaking in and getting kicked out. Then I also snuck into Prince's house when I was like newly 18.
Okay.
But I never met him. I just like.
How do you sneak into Prince's house?
I feel like, just by the way, I don't condone this behavior and I have karmically gotten people trying to break into my house back. So yeah, I'm not saying this is a good idea, but no. I snuck under the fence and went in, the side door was unlocked. And then I went in the elevator and then I just followed the sound.
Okay. Yeah. But this is a, for the audience, this is a do as I say, not as I do moment.
Please, God.
This stops the circle is closed on that, everybody.
Don't do it.
No, don't. So who did you meet when you were a kid? Because your mom was a pretty successful songwriter in her own right.
Totally. She still is. Like, we wrote a lot of the songs on gag order together, which was cool because with my mom, she's been writing songs for forever. She wrote a song for Dolly Parton and then Johnny Cash sang it and then Merle Haggard sang it. So it became like a country standard because in country music, people sing each other's songs.
Yes.
It's not really like that in pop so much, but in country, I feel like they honor each other like that, which is cool. So the first famous person I remember meeting through my mom was I met Dolly Parton at the chiropractor.
Wow. How old were you at that point?
Like 7 or something.
Okay. And she was there she had sciatica or whatever, and she's trying to take care of her.
I'm not trying to call Dolly Parton out on her ailments.
No. Well, if you're at the chiropractor, you got something going on. We can assume something was happening. So you met Dolly Parton at the chiropractor.
It was probably from holding up her
Sure. That adds. It's a real strain.
It is.
Yes. Conjuring Kesha you did a show a year or so ago where it's you and guests going into the worst places on earth, taunting demons, and you're saying, are you a good demon? Are you a bad demon? And then the light flashes, and then the guy's like, oh, this could be a trick. The demons lie.
They do.
I'm sure
they're trying
they
to gain
do.
your trust, Tom.
Mm-hmm. So this is a lifelong fascination with the supernatural.
Yes, I saw my first spirit when I was 4 or 5. I saw some spaceships in Joshua Tree 10 years ago.
I'm sure. Well,
so
I might put an asterisk next to those. Anybody sees spaceship out in Joshua Tree might have to put a qualifier next to.
Wait, why?
Because people go to Joshua Tree. I'm saying for myself as much as anybody, you might not be
of sound mind.
Yes, you might not be sound like. I think we've all seen a few spaceships in Joshua Tree.
Okay, maybe, but if my memory is serving me, I think I was completely sober.
Okay, all right, that's all I needed to hear. I would recuse myself from the discussion if I was like, yeah, I saw a spaceship, and because I also was just like, I think there's somebody out here trying to kill us. Also, that's where my brain also goes. So,
I mean, in Joshua Tree, that's also very likely.
Yes, it is not. Yes, it's a definite possibility. So you've always had this fascination with what else is out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you either are obsessive with this stuff or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like supernatural stuff?
Yes, I do. I'm terrified of some of that stuff. Like I would be. I rewatched the one with you and Whitney Cummings, and there's a moment where you just go, yeah, I gotta go. And I would be a lot quicker to, yeah, I gotta get out of here than you were. I give you.
Well, Whitney was upstairs talking to a transgender demon that may or may not have been transgender, trying to gain her trust, to trick her into submitting her soul, because they can crawl inside your body and possess you if you're not careful.
Yeah, it was that show is so much fun because first of all, you're decked out head to toe, looking as cool as possible, orange lipstick, cowboy hat, and then you're going in and you're going, is there a demon in here? It's the greatest. Everybody should watch every episode of Conjuring Kesha.
I feel truly in my heart that is people are sleeping on the funnest you want some escapism, bitch.
Yeah.
Watch that show.
It is so much fun because it's also that episode. You got some dude who's got a cross around his neck and he's not in the room. He's at the other end of the thing watching on a screen, the heat test, and you see something crawling on the wall. It's that guy's nowhere. He's supposed to be the expert. He's nowhere near the danger.
Oh my God. What's his name? Michael Palermo? Or something. And I'm bad at names, but I remember that guy because fuck Michael, whatever your name is. Because he was like gassing me up to be so scared and trying to put me in a room with a demon. Like, I can deal with ghosts, I can deal with Bigfoot, I can deal with aliens, I can deal with like all of it, but like demons, according to Michael or whatever his name is, can inhabit your body and go home with you and ruin your life and kill you.
Yeah.
You don't think that's rude?
Oh no, I was worried that it was going to be like the end of the Thriller video where you were talking, saying, "Oh, we got out of there," and then you turn and your eyes go, "Ah, ah, ah, ah." Like it's like, "Oh no, the demon's in Kesha."
Maybe that's what happened.
Because then you're on the new record, you're yelling about being possessed, and I'm just like, maybe this is.
I think I say I'm a demon like multiple times on the new record.
You're going to have to put the demon on as a co-writer for some of these songs.
Wait, that was so funny. I will say, like, I look back at making Conjuring Kesha with the utmost joy. I think it's the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Going into abandoned prisons and trying to find. What was truly the scariest moment where you're just like, oh no, I think I'm bit off more than I can chew?
No, it's the demon with Michael, whatever his name is.
That was the worst one.
That was why I'm like, that guy was fear-mongering me.
Yes. There was a great... Okay.
Oh, I was going to tell you, no, in the last episode, if you haven't seen it, it's me and Big Frida going to a haunted insane asylum that they used to perform lobotomies on people.
Sure.
Like 10,000 lobotomies. And this place was open till the 90s.
Wow.
So we were there, and in front of my eyeballs, I saw my cameraman get scratched down the spine and started like welting up. And then the guy who was like lovely, Chip Coffee, pours holy water on his back and the scratch goes away.
Wow. Where was Michael then?
Yeah.
Where were you, Michael?
Michael?
Yeah. I will say on the episode of Whitney Cummings, you ran out of the room and left her in there alone.
I did. I'm a really bad friend.
You were just like, yeah, she's back there.
If you watch that episode, I don't know if you saw the part where some critter starts crawling on her. Some supernatural creature starts touching her knee. And she's just standing there like, okay.
Well, she's coming out of, she's dealt with enough LA comics, I think, at this point to not be flustered by a demon.
She wasn't at all.
No. She's just like, whatever. This is like the Comedy Store.
I think that's what she said.
So, the show is so much fun. And you should, I would hope, because now you've come out of the other side of this experience with this record. And you said it's 3 years it took to get to the finish line for this.
Yeah.
Do you come out of this feeling, like you said, you felt like the house burned down and you're in the ashes? I saw a Q&A with Questlove after he made the Summer of Soul movie. I went to see it at the New Beverly, and he spoke afterwards. And he said, after I made this movie, now I feel like I can do anything. Like, I feel like I don't have to ask permission. I feel like if I want to do it, I give myself permission to do things. Do you feel any of that now?
Yeah, I feel like a clean slate.
Okay.
Like I could become a lawyer. I could open a gay bar in Nashville. I could become a marine biologist, or I could make more music. I don't know.
Sure. Well, I mean, I'd hope you'd keep thinking about music as something on the list, rather than the marine biologist.
I mean, it's in there. I love the ocean creatures, Tom. Do you know that whales can talk to each other from like across the world? One whale will sing a whale song, and then across the whole world, another whale will repeat this song.
I didn't know that. But then again, I'm talking to the great white, Kesha.
Listen, I know about the animals of the sea.
That'll be your next show, Deep Sea Kesha.
I hope so. Are you kidding? I tried to sell a show that was me like wandering around looking at animals, and nobody would buy it.
I went to South Africa a couple years ago with Julia, and we went to Cape Town and we went on a shark dive. And
you did it?
Yeah, we got in the cage, and it was this, like, Julia loves sharks so much. This shark swims by the cage and turns around. The tail goes between the bars and like slapped her in the face. And she was like, that was the greatest moment of my life, was getting smacked by a shark tail, like a shark. So
honestly,
yeah,
we would really get along.
Oh no, I believe you would. I think
because I got bitch slapped by a whale shark once, and that's one of my favorite moments of my life.
Really?
Yeah, I really
how did that
relate
happen?
to your story.
How did that happen?
I was swimming with whale sharks in Mexico, and this one just came up, and I think I was being kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept telling him how cute he was, and then he just smacked me with his fin.
Uh-huh.
So I think I deserved it. It's fine.
No, you didn't deserve it. Marine biologist aside, what could you see next for you? I know you're just doing it now. You don't want to necessarily think about next. Are there new artistic dreams you have that you feel like maybe I could go do anything now?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think that in all seriousness, I might do marine biology. I was hanging out with Brian May, and he's a astrophysicist, or he does something with the stars. Like, he has a whole degree in something else. So you can do both.
Yeah.
But I think the point I'm trying to make is like, I've really run the gamut of super pop to post pop, and like, I feel very satisfied. With this record, and I feel like it completes me. Okay. Some of my fans are posting this thing where it's like the Old Testament is my old records and the New Testament is my last 3 records. And I just feel like it's a very complete idea. So who I was and what I've gone through and who I am, there's a complete picture there. So, I mean, I'll probably make music till I'm dead, but like, I don't feel incomplete any longer, which is really a nice feeling.
That's an amazing place to get to. I'm really glad that at this point, you've gotten to that place where you can be where you are and stand on your own 2 feet feeling like that. That's spectacular.
Thanks. But I think in the future, I really do want to open a drag bar in Nashville.
Okay.
Especially after the latest drag bans. Like, a huge passion of mine is LGBTQ plus rights and making a safe space for people to be the weirdest, most awkward version of themselves. So having a physical space for people to come do that as this kind of like fuck you to the drag ban would be, it's on my list. It's my dream list. I'm writing a movie. Okay. I'm writing a musical. Shit, I'm actually up to a lot. I just announced a tour yesterday.
I saw, and I have a question about what is the balance going to be like on that tour for you you have so much varying material now. How do you see that going?
I think it's just kind of, I haven't like fully planned it out. It's either going to be an Old Testament and New Testament show.
Okay.
That's an idea I'm kicking around. Or it could be, like, it might be one or the other. It might be interwoven. I might open for myself with one incarnation. Sure. I don't know. I don't know yet.
I think you come out with the tablets like Moses, and
That's a good idea.
Right?
Part the seas.
You part the seas. That would be amazing. I would love.
No idea is a bad idea.
Well, that might be a bad idea, actually.
It sounds kind of funny.
Well, yeah. Writing a movie, that's exciting.
I know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just writing a little movie because I see this whole like Alejandro Jodorowsky. I don't think I'm saying his name right, but the guy who made Holy Mountain.
Sure.
Saying like something like that meets AI, cult pop star mixed with some murder.
Well, this sounds like the greatest movie I've ever heard of. It's a Holy Mountain crossed with AI that you're doing. I'm going to go line up now outside the theater. You didn't even finish writing it yet.
But yeah, I don't know. I really want to keep looking for the ghosts and the Bigfoot, honestly, until I find a Bigfoot. I don't think I'll be able to rest.
Okay. So Bigfoot, are there any things on that list of paranormal, supernatural stuff where you're just like, no, I don't believe that? Or are you kind of in the tank for all of it?
You know what I feel? Do you want to know what I feel?
Yeah.
I feel like it's all just for the fun of it. The whole fucking thing we're doing.
Okay.
So why not believe that there might be an interdimensional Bigfoot and Telosians, an underground alien city of people you just can't see? Why not?
Exactly. When people start saying, oh, you can't find show me all the big dead Bigfoots and stuff. It's like, well, show me all the dead bears. So you can't find dead bears either. You don't find bear skeletons all over.
You could probably find one dead bear.
You could probably find one. If you look a little past, you probably find a dead Bigfoot next to it or something. I'm just saying.
I'm going to find it.
I'm saying, I don't know what's going on in the woods. I don't know if I have the fortitude you have to start going through the woods looking for a Bigfoot. I'll probably sit back in the car.
You wouldn't come on my show?
Oh, I would have come on your show because I just, like, you would have been to me what Rick Rubin was to you. You would say jump, and then I would say how high.
And you would follow me into the woods.
I'd follow you into the woods. Two of us go in, one of us comes out, you come out. Then you'll be like, I don't know what happened to him.
That's the movie.
It'd be like that movie The Edge, where the Anthony Hopkins is and Alec Baldwin are trying to kill a bear for the whole movie. They're getting chased by a bear.
I never saw that movie. Should I watch it?
You should. I think it's a fun, it's like a smart, trashy movie. It's like a well-written, I think David Mamet wrote it, but it's a piece of garbage. It's like an A-level writer writing a B movie. So
wait, what'd you call it? You said it's smart garbage?
Smart garbage, which it should be my name, actually. Should be smart
Honestly,
garbage. Yeah.
I really relate to that title as well.
Okay. Well, we can both live at the smart garbage dump together. Now, what you got to tell me, one thing I've always wanted to ask you, and since we're not in the same room now, I feel I can ask it. What happened with Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh my God. Are you friends with him?
I am not. No.
Okay, we're good. It's about to hang up on you.
No, I'm not friends with him. I told you, you're the best guest I've ever had.
Obviously.
So what happened? You were on the red carpet at a thing.
Do you want to know the story? You want to know the whole story?
Sure.
It's really sad.
Well,
you're going to get lots of clicks for this, I bet. Because I don't think I've ever told the whole story.
Okay.
So I learned TM from David Lynch, the David Lynch Foundation.
Sure.
Love TM, love meditating. But he was like, could you do an event that's like a charity event? In the middle of tour, I'm exhausted. But I was like, I love David Lynch. Sure. And I heard that Jerry Seinfeld's going to be there. And I used to take my computer when there was like the CD and I would carry around the world internationally a little DVD. So when I would get bumpy on planes, I would pop in Seinfeld and I would just be like, everything's okay in the world.
Sure.
And watch my buddy.
Jerry.
So then Gary. So then I get to the fucking charity event.
Okay.
And I got really excited because he brings me peace and love and all things good in the universe. And then he didn't hug me in front of cameras. And it was like the most depressing and hilarious, but also so sad. It was like the saddest moment of my life.
Well, now
in
I
that
feel
one
bad.
moment.
Now I feel bad for asking about the Jerry sign. Not that bad, because now it's a very clickable
You don't
moment.
look like you feel very bad.
You just gave a very clickable moment, Kesha. So it's kind of half good, half bad. Now, look, you're Kesha. You don't need Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, I get excited when I see like, I don't really like that many people.
Sure. Who's somebody who you would, in 2023, would take your breath away if they were in the same room as you?
Well, recently at Shangri-La, when I was making Gag Order with Rick Rubin,
Sure.
Neil Young was there.
Wow.
And I it didn't go well because I couldn't look at him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of talking to the wall, like over there. It was just, I didn't do a good job.
I would not know what to do if I was in the same room with Neil Young. Our friend Kurt Vile, I was in your favorite city. Was it in Nashville?
Milwaukee?
Or was it in Memphis? It was in Nashville.
Okay.
I didn't know Milwaukee was your favorite city. We were in Nashville. Kurt was there. I was there. We went to the outdoor venue along the water, and Neil Young was playing. And then Kurt got to go backstage and say hi. I was out in the alley. Nobody would let me within a mile of Neil Young.
You were the smart garbage can.
I was smart garbage, yes. So I go back. He comes, he talks to Neil, and he was like, Neil, when you did, he was like, I forget what song he said, when you did like Down by the River. He's like, it was like a 25-minute version of it jammed out. And he goes, it was like, you were just like in outer space. And he's like, yeah, I know. When we do it, we can go underwater. We can go in outer space. We go wherever we want. And I was just like, well, I give Kurt credit. I wouldn't know what to say to that guy other than, I love you so much. And then he would just start stepping back from me slowly and probably trying to signal his security that we got one. Where are you guys?
Oh, I didn't know what to do either. But my redemption after Gary was I ran into Bob Dylan.
Okay.
And he gave me a really big hug.
Well, that's 5 Gary Seinfelds. Bob Dylan. If I'm 43 normal fans, Bob Dylan, 5 Gary Seinfelds is 1 Bob Dylan. The hug.
Let's say 47.
47. Okay. 47 Gary Seinfeld hugs equals 1 Bob Dylan hug.
Well, he's just like, Bob Dylan is why Nashville Skyline is just
It's
everything.
amazing.
One of my favorite albums of all time.
And it's funny because Nashville Skyline is the one where he's trying this different voice on for size. And Gag Order, you're doing all sorts of stuff with your voice too but it feels so like it's right up in your face. And it feels like it's you doing it. Like it's not like a production doing it. It kind of feels like you're in the room with you. So it's interesting and what is it like at this point, in your career to just explore what you can do with your voice? Are you finding different things and trying different things?
I am. There was one harmony I sang on Eat the Acid that after I sang it, I literally started crying because it was this rub that I have never done before. So discovering this new sonic landscape made me cry from joy.
That's amazing. That's so cool to have these new things kind of reveal
and
themselves.
Rick, like, oh my God. And it was like, a lot of it was like Rick being kind of my like shaman. He helped create the safe space and encourage.
Mm-hmm.
And on a song called Fine Line, it used to be a country song.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like major chords. And it was like, there's a fine line I've been walking. There's this really pretty song that was gentle.
Mm-hmm.
And he dropped it a full octave.
Okay.
Slowed it down.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, that's where we're living.
Yeah, it's a different song. It's a song now that if I was a Bigfoot, for example, and that version of Kesha came to the woods, I'd be just like, you're the boss. This is my woods. But I'm like, you're in charge of my woods now, Kesha.
I like that feeling.
It's so, I really appreciate you talking to me, and I appreciate you're a truly amazing person, and everybody needs to check out Gag Order. If you think you know what Kesha does, you don't know until you hear this record. And you made something that's not about this month, it's not about this year. This is the kind of like career statement an artist makes, a lifer makes, and it's really amazing that you did this. So I congratulate you on that. And this fall you're going to be touring. It's very exciting.
I am. I just announced yesterday I'm going on tour. I'm really excited. I'm sorting out what it's going to look like at the moment, but I'm really, really excited to connect with my fans because it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I'm like, have a lot of energy to expel.
Well, it's going to be a triumph, and I'll be in the parking lot with Jello Man selling Jello shots.
Oh my God, bring Jello Man.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Do you have a Philly date on the calendar?
I think I do.
Well, then you just
wait, guys. Do I? Anybody? No, there's nobody here. All right. Well, I don't know. I think I do.
Well, he's got a RV. He can go wherever you are.
Well, I'm playing New York 2 nights.
Amazing.
Yesterday we put 1 night up, and it did so well. So we're doing 2 nights in New York.
That's amazing. No, this is great. I'm excited for everything you got coming up, and I really appreciate you being on the show, Kesha.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my album launch.
Of course. No, that was a real treat, and you should just be very proud of this album. And
thank you.
I will see you hopefully sooner than later.
Oh, Philly, October 31st.
Halloween.
Oh my God. You have to.
Well, I live here now. I live in Los Angeles.
So I'm not worth traveling across the country for?
Kesha, I guess I'm coming to Philadelphia on Halloween to see you live. It's me and Jello Man. I guess I have no say in this. So
you're a good man, Tom.
Well, thank you. And thanks for doing this. So much fun.
Of course. Thanks for doing what you do. Love you.
Thank you. I love you too.